The United States is pausing military aid to Ukraine days after Donald Trump clashed with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in the Oval Office, a White House official confirmed today. The official said the U.S. is pausing and reviewing aid to ensure it is contributing to a solution. The pause will last until Trump determines the country's leaders demonstrate a good faith commitment to peace. Once again, Congress seems to have been left out of any negotiation. It's being reported that all U.S. military equipment not currently in Ukraine would be paused, including weapons in transit on aircraft and ships or waiting in transit areas in Poland. They said that Trump ordered the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, to execute the pause. The reports come just hours after Trump told reporters at the White House that he had not discussed suspending military aid to Ukraine, but added that Zelensky should be more appreciative of Washington's support. Nearly 3 years into the war, Washington has committed around $100 billion in aid for Ukraine versus $300 billion from our European allies. Trump is pivoting the support for Ukraine to support for Russia, handing Vladimir Putin the support and control that he has wanted from the beginning. Trump exposed and confirmed his collusion with the Russian president in the angry press conference last week, claiming that he and Putin had gone through hell together at the hands of the Russia investigation, which concluded that Trump obstructed justice on multiple occasions but could not be prosecuted because guidelines issued by the Department of Justice's Office for Legal Counsel state that a sitting president cannot be indicted.
Let me tell you, Putin went through a hell of a lot with me. He went through a phony witch hunt.
The former FBI director Robert Mueller spent 2 years probing alleged collusion between the 2016 Trump campaign and Russia, and concluded that Russia had interfered in the election with the intention of benefiting the Trump campaign. Meanwhile, European countries are rallying around Volodymyr Zelensky, trying to hatch a peace plan.
Well, let me just say that you're very, very welcome here in Downing Street. As you heard from the cheers on the street outside, you have full backing across the United Kingdom. And we stand with you, with Ukraine, for as long as it may take, and I hope you heard some of that cheering in the street. That is the people of the United Kingdom coming out to demonstrate how much they support you, how much they support Ukraine.
There are clearly a number of options on the table, British Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer's spokesman said. France, Britain and potentially other European countries have offered to send troops to Ukraine in the event of a ceasefire, something Moscow has already rejected, but say they would want support from the US or a backstop. Zelensky says a ceasefire must carry explicit security guarantees from the West to ensure that Russia, which holds about 20% of its land, does not attack again. Trump has refused to give any such guarantees. On Sunday night, Elon Musk wrote on X, "I agree," when a conservative political commentator suggested the US leave the European nations and NATO. Russia has not concealed its delight, praising Trump for changing US policy and denouncing Zelensky. When asked, Trump denied ever calling Zelensky a dictator despite it being on video. He has in turn refused to call Vladimir Putin a dictator, purposefully avoiding the question. Meanwhile, the US will press ahead with steep tariffs on Canada and Mexico from tomorrow, Trump has said, setting the stage for a trade war with his country's two largest economic partners. Hours before his administration was due to hit America's closest neighbors with these sweeping import duties, Trump claimed there was no room left for a deal to avoid their imposition. The announcement led to a sharp sell-off on Wall Street. All Mexican exports to the US are set to face a levy of 25% under the plans. Most Canadian exports will face a 25% tariff, with energy products facing a 10% duty. The 10% levy on China introduced last month will be doubled to 20%, according to an executive order released by the White House. Tariffs are a very powerful weapon, Trump told reporters at a news conference, but offered no data to back that up. Wall Street fell sharply after Trump's remarks, with the S&P 500 down 1.7%, the Dow Jones Industrial Average down 1.5%, and the tech-heavy NASDAQ dropping over 2.6% as Trump announced the tariff during his chaotic speech. The tariffs will affect $900 billion in annual imports from Canada and Mexico, paid for by the American consumer with higher prices. Trump has reluctantly conceded in recent weeks that higher tariffs could lead to higher prices in the US, but suggested the impact would be worth the cost. He has brushed off calls to tread carefully, escalating threats to go further. Trump also pledged to impose tariffs on overseas agricultural goods within weeks. He claimed his administration would introduce tariffs on farm products from the 2nd of April. Meanwhile, a top spokesperson for the Department of Health and Human Services has abruptly resigned from the department just 2 weeks after starting the job as the country grapples with an escalating measles outbreak. Tom Corey, who served as Assistant Secretary of Public Affairs at HHS, said today that he resigned on Friday, effective immediately. I want to announce to my friends and colleagues that last Friday I announced my resignation effective immediately. Corey, who previously served in a similar role to the first Trump administration, wrote on LinkedIn, "To my colleagues at HHS, I wish you the best and great success." Corey, who was sworn in just 2 weeks ago, did not provide a reason for his departure, and HHS did not respond to a request for comment. But it was reported that Corey had been clashing with the HHS secretary and prominent anti-vax conspiracist Robert F. Kennedy Jr., along with his close aides, regarding the management of the health department amid the escalating measles outbreak. Corey had become increasingly uneasy with Kennedy's muted response to the intensifying outbreak of measles in Texas, where more than 140 people have become infected since January. The outbreak has also resulted in the death of an unvaccinated child, marking the first fatality from the highly contagious disease in the U.S. since 2015. Corey's resignation comes as last week, during Trump's first official cabinet meeting, a reporter asked Kennedy about the Texas outbreak, to which he responded that it was not unusual, which sparked blowback and criticism from doctors and health experts around the country. Measles was declared eliminated in the U.S. in 2000, according to the CDC, meaning no outbreaks have spread in a region for 12 or more consecutive months. I'm Anthony Davis. You can find me on the 5 Minute News YouTube channel and podcast, on Wednesday co-hosting Uncovered, and on Sunday on The Weekend Show with MeidasTouch.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.